Chuck Olenek. I'm a reenactor. And for 36 years in the classroom, I tried to bring history to life for my students so they would feel that the subject was more than simply identifying famous dead people. And I would try to immerse them in the entire culture that we were studying, whatever it was. I would dress for the time period. I'd bring in artifacts. Teachers would call that realia or manipulatives, fancy teacher talk, all right? That's stuff kids could touch. And I'm not in the classroom anymore. So I still have this entire room at the house filled with garb from different time periods. I still have this passion for bringing the past to life. And I have this desire to preserve landmarks and play history detective. So what I'm engaged in right now is a very pretentious sounding mission odyssey where I'm visiting each of the sites of Alta California that involve the mission. So that'd be the missions, the asistencias, those are spin-off missions, the estancias that I could find that haven't been paved over, those are ranchos. The presidios, those are fortifications designed to protect the missions. And pretty much anything I can lump under this overarching umbrella. And what I'm doing right now is I've just left Mission San Juan Bautista and I'm headed up the Camino Real to Mission Santa Cruz to tell its story. So I hope you stick with me. Here we have some intertwined stories, and they're centered around the Bay of Monterey. And we have to kind of get into the Spanish discovering the Bay of Monterey. In 1542, you have an explorer named Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo who sails north with 3 ships. He's been told, hey, explore the California coast. And he writes down a bunch of names of places that he's named a bunch of places that he's found along the way, and he's giving very vivid descriptions, and he's named landmarks so that other Spaniards will be able to find their way. And he misses Monterey Bay because of probably a storm, misses San Francisco Bay probably because of fog, makes it as far north as the Russian River, turns around, and on the way back finds Monterey Bay, writes his descriptions, and then he sails on south and he doesn't make it home. While wintering on the island of San Miguel, one of the Channel Islands, running away from some of the native Californians that his crew had kind of stirred up trouble with, he broke his shin and ended up getting gangrene and was buried on the island. But the logbook will come back, and that'll give some guidance to later explorers. Well, now here comes a later explorer. In 1602, that's 60 years later, you have Sebastian Vizcaíno, who sails north with 3 ships, and by the way, he's naming stuff too. He's got the logbook. He's naming stuff too. He's renaming everything. It's his expedition. And he does end up finding San Francisco Bay. And on his way back, he does find Monterey Bay, and he writes some very vivid descriptions. And in, December 17th, 1602, he comes ashore, and prayer is held, yay, okay. And January 3rd, he ends up exploring a little further south and takes some Carmelite priests with him, and they find a river they name the Carmel River, and the bay they name Carmel Bay. Okay, so the explorations are taking place, and Vizcaíno returns and he suggests to the Spanish governor, it's like, if you really want to take control of this area, you need to get some missions up there, and presidios and pueblos. You need to establish, a presence. Well, no one does anything until 1769. On July 14th, 1769, Governor Portola leads what is referred to as his grand expedition. He takes 63 soldados de cuerda, leather jacket soldiers, and 100 mules and supplies packed on the mules and people to control the mules, and he marches north. And his goal, based upon the descriptions of Sebastian Vizcaíno's pilot, is to find the Bay of Monterey. And the descriptions don't match what he ends up seeing, or he doesn't interpret the descriptions correctly. And he thinks he's not having any luck at all. He keeps thinking, we're close, we've got to be close, but he doesn't see anything that matches. And on October 17th, he and his party crossed the area near what's going to be the town of Santa Cruz, near the San Lorenzo River, and Father Crespi, the diarist, will basically name it Santa Cruz. And the Portola expedition continues to go north, because they're going to find the Bay of Monterey. Well, they end up turning around, and they end up passing back through this area November 21st of 1769, and they're utterly dejected. They have not found what they needed to. But what they have found is the site of a future mission. In 1774, Padre Francisco Paulo, based upon what Padre Crespi had written, selected this as the site for the 12th mission. And the reason for it was this being very close to the coast, it would allow access to the coastal tribes that the more prosperous, or the very prosperous Mission Santa Clara couldn't get access to, because there's like mountains in the way and there's forests covering the mountains. So the 8th mission couldn't do the job, so this will be the 12th mission established to take care of that. On August 28th of 1791, Padre Lasuen will dedicate this mission, named in honor of the exaltation of the Holy Cross of Christianity. And they're going to the Padres are going to throw together some rude structures made of wood and covered in thatch. And this will be one of the smaller missions that would be in the military district, which would be overseen by the Presidio at San Francisco. Native Americans who first joined Mission Santa Cruz were members of the Awaswas tribelet of the Ohlone. And later, other Ohlone and Yokuts would end up joining the mission. There were a number of different reasons why people joined. Some of it was fear of the priests, that maybe they would cause illness or cause death by magic. Some were simply curious. Often the approach would be to really push the faith upon one of the heads of the tribelets, or one of the heads of the rancherias, and if he decided that he liked this, then members of the village would convert as well. Well, that didn't last very long. The place where they built the first mission was subject to flooding. So what ended up happening is a new site was selected on higher ground at a native site called Uipi. And This was going to be a stone structure, and they started building February 17th, 1793. There's going to be 5-foot thick walls. The chapel's going to be 112 feet long, and there was some effort being put into this, and it was dedicated the next year. And by 1795, a quadrangle had been built. Neophytes were expected to move from their rancherias or villages and live either within or near the mission complex. Young unmarried women living in a dormitory, all living very structured lives. Within the quadrangle, natives learned to work at spinning, weaving, blacksmithing, sheep shearing, leather tanning and leather work, and adobe brick and roof tile making. The San Lorenzo River and springs on the mission property supplied the water needs of the mission, its residents, the large garden and orchard near the mission, the crops, and the livestock the mission neophytes raised. The industry of the mission began successfully. Crops and orchards soon were thriving in the fertile soil along the San Lorenzo River. Extra vegetables and fruits were sometimes sent to help feed the people at Mission San Carlos to the south. Cattle, oxen, and sheep grazed along the coastal property of the mission, which extended from Año Nuevo in the north to the Pajaro River in the south. But Santa Cruz was not well known for its livestock herd. It ranked in the bottom 25% of the California missions in the size of its herd. One estancia, which bears a name, was Rancho Refugio. Rancho Arroyo del Matadero, stream of the slaughtering ground ranch, was one of the 4 mission cattle ranches strung along the coast. I had too much information. I need to come back. I hope you stick with me.